You know what? I really, really do love coming up here. I love coming up here. I'm on the roof of my building, and it's just one of those simple pleasures. Unfortunately, we don't get anything like this back in England, really. It's probably gonna be fucking raining at this time of December. But it's all right here in LA. And you know what? Being up here made me just think that I'm in a position where I've had to work a lot on my inner game, and I've had to work a lot on my inner game so that I can have the life that I want. So the inner game thing isn't just about women, it isn't just about relationships, right? It's about actually really living the life that you want. And let me tell you what I mean. I've got a friend of mine right now, and he's in a relationship that, to put it mildly, he's whipped, and it's really sad to see. But what's happening is that it started off at first with his girlfriend never used to let, she never liked the guys that he was friends with. So that was myself and our other friend. She never really liked us. So she stopped him going out with us. And then now, that was at first, it was like, don't go out to the clubs, don't party too much. And, after a couple of years, it's now, he can't even walk outside of his house to take the dog for a walk without her freaking out. All right, we went out for a drink the other day, and halfway through it, she's calling him every 5 minutes, and he's like, "I gotta go, I gotta go." And after he left, I'm saying to the other friends, "I don't understand that. Why? What's going on there?" And they all start saying the same thing. Oh, well, when you date a crazy girlfriend, you'll understand. When you have a crazy ex, like if you date one of these crazy girls, that's what we will have to deal with. Everybody had to deal with that crazy girlfriend. That's backwards. That's not how it's supposed to be. Not at all. Like, you've got to be able to set your boundaries. Every single issue that a guy will come up. Every single issue you're gonna get, it's from girls flaking on you. If a girl walks all over you, anybody walks all over you, any negative situation that you're gonna have with another human being, whether they don't do something that you want, whether they misuse you in some way, or whether you feel used, or whether they walk all over you, or you feel powerless, you feel out of control. Every single one of those situations has come about because of a lack of proper boundary function. The guy in the situation, whether it's you, like my friend, situations when I've been in like this, when I've had this issues in the past. Anytime you're in a situation where somebody doesn't do the thing that you want them to do, or someone who you have a relationship with, your boss, your friend, your girl, your parents, your kids, they do something to you that you feel out of control and you feel like, well, that's not what I want happening. That comes down to a lack of boundaries. Just to quickly explain what your boundary is basically what you will and won't accept in your life. The behaviors that you accept and the behaviors that you don't accept, those are determined by your boundaries. So if you have a really weak boundary, then you become one of those guys, we've seen them where they've basically got no life left in them. They're basically just, they've been pussified to such an extent where they can't even control their own life. Every single thing is out of their control, and that happens for a number of reasons. But that's when you have a really, really weak boundary. Women walk all over you, your friends walk all over you, your ex-wife walks all over you, your kids walk all over you. That's when you've got a weak boundary. On the flip side of that, if your boundary isn't working on the other scale, then you get some of those people that are just too strict and too stiff. You got to think of a boundary like a country, right? You don't want to be a country that's got open borders where everybody comes in and takes all the resources, but at the same time, you don't want to be a country that's like North Korea. I'm just using that as an example. No offense to any North Koreans watching, but you don't want to be a country like that where your borders are too strict and nobody wants to do business with you, nobody wants to trade with you, nobody wants to be a part of your life. Boundaries are so freaking important, right? They're so freaking important to the well-being and your psyche, because if you've got a weak boundary, those blood-sucking vampires that are out there in the world, right? And they are. There are some people out there who are leeches, and you might be dating one of them. They might be your parents. They might be your kids. They might be your friends. But if you've got a weak boundary, nothing that a person who's that kind of blood-sucking vampire-ish type individual wants more than to meet somebody for weak boundary and suck out their pot of gold, suck out your goodness, suck out your energy. Every one of those negative scenarios that you may or may not have come across is down to a lack of proper boundary enforcement, because you can't be too far to one side because you become too inflexible and nobody likes you, but you can't be too far to the other side because then you basically become a doormat and everybody walks all over you. So it's very, very, very important that you know how to enforce proper boundaries. That's why on day 5 in Project Royalty, we go through boundary function, how to set up your boundaries in such a way that you live a life where you are in control, okay? Things like girls flaking, or, maybe she didn't get back to you, or she's acting up, or you're in a relationship where you feel trapped, or you just don't have what you want from your life, be it from your friends, your family, your parents, it's all due to that lack of boundary function. So in day 5 of Project Royalty, it's a very important part of the whole course. We go through how to set up your boundaries, in such a way that you will get the best out of your life. Okay, so I just wanted to drop in real quick because I'm up here doing some work, and it just reminded me that my friend who's in a situation where he wasn't enforcing his boundaries, he's now in a relationship that he can't stand, but he feels trapped. He can't even go out for a walk. He can't even go outside without his girlfriend freaking out. So I'm here enjoying this, and I still had a thought for him. That's why it's very, very important, make sure you learn about your boundaries and make sure you know how to enforce them, because you got to have things that you want in your life and things that you don't have in your life, that you don't want in your life, and you got to be able to enforce those things so that you can only have people around you who behave in a way that works with your own philosophies and your own worldview. That's what we cover on Project Royalty on day 5. I show you how to enforce your boundaries, how to create positive boundaries and healthy ones so that you live a really good, fulfilling life. Right now, below this video, just want you to make a quick comment. Tell me, why do you want a healthy boundary? Why do you want to be able to enforce your boundaries, okay? Every single comment, opportunity to win the prize at the end of the month, which is the Apple Watch and $500 worth of King's Game products. Okay, so below, just tell me, comment real quick, why do you want positive boundary function? I'm Greg C. Greenway. See you again tomorrow.